In this video, I'm going to share 5 feedback tips, easy things you can do that will improve the feedback culture within your team. The more you can take feedback to just being part of how we work here rather than ad hoc occasional conversations, the better it will be. Your team will learn more and performance will improve. My name is Helen Bryans. I am a coach and a trainer. I focus on leadership and management, and I am on a mission to help managers everywhere learn the skills they need to thrive in their role and create a good workplace for everyone. Okay, so I take you back to when I was a line manager and I had this particular situation that I was going to have to talk to one of my team about. I was really worried about sharing this feedback, and in a one-to-one I was talking to my manager about it, and that I knew I had to do it, but I knew I'd been avoiding it. And he had some really simple feedback for me, which was, Helen, embrace feedback. Don't be scared of it. Sometimes you'll do it well, sometimes you won't do it as well, but embrace doing it. And that conversation really changed my mindset. It gave me confidence to go out and have a go. And the tips I'm sharing now are ones I adopted myself, and now I share frequently in the workshops that I run, and I see have a genuine difference in creating a much stronger feedback culture within those teams. Okay, let's get into the tips then. The first tip is 5 to 1, and that's 5 times positive feedback to each piece of constructive feedback. I think all too often we default to a position where feedback is something that is negative, or we want something done differently. And we can see that in how people respond. If you ever say, would you like some feedback? They almost start to take a defensive position. It's like, yes, I would. But immediately it's like that kind of protecting oneself from incoming feedback. So I want you to think about 5 to 1. It is much easier every time you see the behaviours you want to see and work done well in the way that you want it done, to praise that work, to show gratitude and praise to that person for doing that. Now, the key here is to be specific. Often I see this, but people just go, oh, great job. It's not specific enough. Make sure you say exactly what it is that you particularly like about what they've done there or how they've done it. But do this as often as possible. Do it verbally in front of other people. Tell someone in as one-to-one. Write it in emails. Write it in your Slack chat or your Teams chat. The more often you do it, it's like you're stood on the side going, yeah, we want more of this, well done. And people just respond so much more to positive feedback and praise. So really think about upping the volume on positive feedback. And then that doesn't mean that we avoid those more tricky messages. It's much easier to send out the positive ones more often. Tip 2 is the 48-hour rule. If you observe a situation where you are going to give feedback on it, in particular if it's something that you want done differently, don't leave it longer than 48 hours. Sometimes people hold this feedback back for a long time. You could be in a half-year review and somebody brings up something that happened so long ago, the other person has completely forgotten about it. Feedback works best when it's near the moment it's happened, when you both have very fresh recollections of it. And the longer you leave it, then the less it hits the mark. So no more than 48 hours before you pick it up with someone. The sooner, to be fair, the better. Tip 3 is to find ways to systemize feedback into your workflow. So little and often ways of assessing how well are we doing. Now, good examples would be at the end of meetings, checking, how did you find this meeting? Scoring out of 10. I've done that lots of times before, finding out how did this meeting go? What do you score it? What went well? what could we do differently to make it a better meeting next time? So finding those ways to systemize. Now, tools that can help you here are polls and surveys. You can put them into workflow at the end of projects. A good way of embracing this is talking to your team. You know, at what points, if we were to gather feedback, would we learn most about what we're doing well and what we could do better? And then put that feedback into your workflow. So little and often systemized, easy tools that just help you know how well are we doing? Could we be doing things better? Those three things alone will automatically start to create a much stronger feedback culture within your team. And the more everybody gets used to feedback, the easier it is not only for you to give the more difficult messages, but also for the team to give feedback to each other. It's not a scary ad hoc thing that happens occasionally. It's just something we do here all the time in order to make sure we achieve our goals and work our best together. Okay, tip 4, ask for feedback. Use particularly your one-to-ones with your team to proactively ask for feedback on what you're doing and how you're working, and is there anything you could do that would help them more. Putting yourself out there and asking for that feedback, even though it can be really uncomfortable, is role modeling what you would like your team to do. But you're going to learn so much. And remember, you have to create an environment of trust for that to happen. See, a little bit often makes it easier for people to tell what they actually may be thinking, because remember, as a manager, you've got the power. So you need to, the more you can create those moments of help me learn what I'm doing well and help me learn what we could do differently or I could do differently, the better. And tip 5. So every now and again, you're going to have that moment where you have to give somebody some more difficult feedback. And here, the best thing to recognize is you're bound to feel nervous. And we are social animals. We want to be part of the tribe. As managers, you know, we don't really want to upset our team. But that doesn't mean that you can't deliver more difficult messages well. So give yourself a little bit of time to prepare for that conversation. Remember, feedback needs to be specific and it needs to be targeted at the behaviour and not the person. So prepare, think through exactly what it is that you want to say. Don't just say this off your top of your head, especially if you know you're going to be feeling a bit nervous. Give yourself just a few minutes, not to write the script, but just to get clear on what it is you're going to say. And then just embrace the nerves, you know, as you get out of your comfort zone, recognise you're going to do that. So breathe deeply and just go for it. So my experience is most times these conversations will go fine. They will be a little bit uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean it can't be a really constructive moment. Occasionally, it will just go wrong. Just accept that. We can't be perfect in our communication all the time, but what we can do is be as prepared as we possibly can be for those more tricky conversations. So as tricky as they are, as my old manager says, embrace the moment, have a go. In fact, the biggest thing with feedback is the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, because it's a practicing activity. The magic is in practicing. You learn what kind of things work well, and when you get it wrong, you can stop afterwards and just go, okay, if I had my time again, what would I do differently? What worked? What didn't work? Just keep asking yourself those questions. Okay, so how do you take this into action? Reflect on this and look in the coming week for, say, 3 opportunities that you could give someone feedback, and go out there and do it. And then after each one, just stop and reflect for a couple of minutes. What went well? What would you do differently next time? Start to build those feedback muscles up so that you have these conversations more and more and more often. And as you practice, let me know how it goes. Let me know in the comments. If you have questions, you can either put them here in the comments. I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram, so you can DM me directly. If you found this useful, please like, subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified of each and every video that I release. The like is especially important because it helps with the YouTube algorithm in helping me to reach more managers like you who are wrestling with the challenges of leading a team. Until next week, I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.